What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. I'm also going to talk about why we're going to be looking for some interesting volatility for the broader markets going into the week and what's happening with the share price. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends in 3 weeks. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So as far as NIO is going right now, we're completely range bound. We're stuck between the 4.8 resistance and about the 4.2 area as our supports, and we've been going back and forth for quite some time. Now, although there is a risk of NIO coming down a little bit right here to fill these imbalances below, I still believe it's going to remain range bound for the time being, only to be ready for a much larger move towards the end of the year. So my view is this: we're going to likely continue to chop around as we have a nice looking pennant that's forming, but there's going to be a much bigger move coming on over the next couple of weeks once we approach the end of the year. Now, the news is coming out and talking about the difference between XPeng and NIO, and you can see that both of them have seen some very, very nice growth. We have their sales between January and November of 2022, 2023, and then 2024. You can see the growth that has been spiraling for NIO has been very, very strong. On top of this, you guys can see that NIO has seen some very, very strong sales in the month of November. And so far, I think that the growth is very, very great for them. I do want to call out that they're going to be expecting a very strong December in order for them to meet their guidance goals. So I hope that they do end up getting one of the strongest Decembers ever. And we'll have to see what that leads to, at least moving forward. For other factors out there, I want to say that looking at the way things are moving, NIO has been talking about how they're working in different ways right over here to improve their manufacturing process. And they're looking for end-to-end efficient industrial chains with sustainable usage. So they're trying to make things a lot more effective with low carbon. And I think that's very cool with the fact that they are developing faster ways of manufacturing as they're going to continue to expand. Now, with the factors that they have been working on, I think that they're going to be building cars at a faster rate. I think that the sales are very, very much in a great place to grow. Despite that, for the shorter term, there are some hardships that NIO has to deal with, such as the high cost expenditures that are coming on with this expansion. And then that's the reason why Goldman Sachs has given them a sell rating. So that was the latest piece of negative news that caused a bit of a downtrend for them. Right now, they remain very choppy. We'll have to see how we end up reacting, at least moving forward. The price price ratio is kind of flat right here, so we'll have to see what kind of reaction we get. And then when it comes to other pieces of data, Mondays do tend to be green a little bit less, about 49% of the time, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays tend to be stronger, at least historically for NIO. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy. Also, volume was only at about 44 million, so it still is a little bit below average. And then in terms of our data, just know that tomorrow is going to be Monday, December 9th. We have very minor data coming out. We just have wholesale inventories at 10 a.m., the consumer inflationary expectations at 11. That's pretty much it. For other factors out there, we have minor data. We just have like Oracle announcing earnings tomorrow. Then we have AutoZone, GameStop, and a few more. And Macy's and more retail on Wednesday, and then Thursdays when we have Costco. So very minor data for the week. We do have Oracle on Monday though, so we'll see what that leads to. Then besides that, the market is a little bit more in a neutral position. We did dip just a little bit, excuse me, a tiny bit on Friday, but we're going to be looking to see if we get a continuation at our key supports. Momentum is still extremely greedy. The puts and call option ratio is also at these extremes as it's at these lows, and the VIX remains more neutral as it's been dipping quite a bit right over here. So, what does this mean for the market? What is my efficient view of the market right now? I think that NIO is very, very choppy. We're just getting bought back up around the 4.5 area, and we're just kind of trading sideways around that zone. I think there's a very good chance that we continue to remain in this flag as time goes on. Then we could be looking for an attempt to push higher if we do get a break out from here because we are making higher lows. So I anticipate it's going to push tomorrow, retest 4.6, come back down, continue to consolidate, and then we will have to see if we get a break to the upside to get back closer to $5. Otherwise, I see a lot of choppy price action perpetuating. We'll have to see what happens after that. For SPY has a very, very interesting trend right over here. Now, I just want to mention that with the way SPY has been moving, volume has been slowing down a bit. This also has a double top-like structure. However, SPY has not lost its key supports to turn bearish. We haven't done that quite yet. This 20 EMA is going to push a little higher for this like 606 area. If we lose that, I think we come down to fill the gap to 604. As long as we hold that, we could continue to remain in this range between 606 and 609. We have resistance at 608 and 609, so I think we're going to most likely dip a little bit upon open tomorrow, back down to 606, and then we could get a bounce, and we'll have to see if we continue in this range. But if 606 fails us, we will be dipping lower, so just keep that in mind. There might be a small dip coming with a lot of sideways price action. Looking at ES, I do anticipate this might dip a little bit more. It likes to push upon our opens before it starts to dip to about the 6,084 area. That's our 20 EMA. If that fails us, we're looking for a bigger dip closer to about 20 or 60, 68 from there. So we'll have to see how that goes. As far as Nvidia goes, Nvidia has been dipping a little bit. We have support at 141.5. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip closer to about 140 flat, not to mention the 138 area. So we'll have to see if we lose the support or not. If this holds, we could attempt to rebound, but as of right now, there's a bit of a downtrend that's kind of perpetuating right here. So we could be looking for 140, if not 138, as our potential targets for a small dip, and we'll see if we get a bounce from there or not. So for a little bit more downside, and we'll see what the reaction happens to be. Bitcoin's very choppy at this 100,000 area. We're going to most likely chop around for a little bit longer. But this is riding its 20 EMA very nicely, so it may chop a bit before it tries to push back up to 102,000. Overall, Bitcoin has some potential. Tesla looks very, very bullish. It broke out very, very nicely with all the bullish news that came out over the weekend. So I think that there's a good chance that this is going to be hitting that 400 target, if not exceeding that, and remains very, very bullish. For NQ, we look quite bullish for breaking out right here. As long as we do not lose 21,450, we do, we're on an uptrend. We're at this tough resistance closer to about 21,670. If this rejects, we could be dipping lower towards 21,500. So we'll just have to see what the reaction is, at least from here. For the QQQ, we hit this resistance around this 526.5 area. If that does not hold, we have this resistance to watch for, which is now going to become support at 523.6. So we'll see if we get a bounce from here or not. But overall, just know that that is going to be a tough resistance. As far as Aapl goes, we're stuck within this range. We're dipping to the support to watch for it very close to 242. If that fails us, this will be dipping a little bit lower. I do see a risk of us getting closer to the lower 242, so we'll see if we bounce or not. But just keep in mind that there is that risk of downside. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're on a bit of a downtrend right here. We have a range to watch for with 238.5 as our support and then 240 as our resistance. So we're stuck going back and forth, at least for the time being. Now, if we lose the support, it is possible we dip a little bit lower to about the 137 area. Otherwise, we're just completely range bound. For coin has that's kind of like a double top like structure here. If we break 350, we will remain more bullish. And if we don't, there's going to be a risk of this dipping a little bit lower. We have 330 as our main support right over here. So I do see a risk of us dipping closer to 330, if not 323. But then we'll have to see what kind of reaction we get, at least from here. For Amazon, we remain more bullish. As long as we don't lose 225, we're favoring 228 as a potential target. So far, it's looking quite strong. Meta is looking a little bit more bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. This may dip to the breakout area towards this like 620 area. And as long as we hold that, we could try to bounce and continue to get back up to these highs. As long as 606 does not break, we do favor that. We're consolidating on Microsoft right now. As long as we don't lose 440, we are going to likely I think we could dip towards 440, and we'll see if we bounce off that or not. So the uptrend could remain as long as we don't lose 440. I presume it's going to consolidate, maybe retest 440, and we'll see how it goes from there. Google hit this high up here towards 178, came back down, made a lower high here. We'll have to see if it can break out close to 178 or not. It's possible to get a small dip right here towards the 175 area, but then we'll see if we get a bounce or not. This could be a lower high rejection. So even if we do kind of make a lower high here, this could dip a bit before it attempts to rebound back down to 174. But there's a new range that's being established, and we'll have to see how it goes from there. Anyways, that's it for my analysis, at least for the broader markets. NIO is in a consolidation phase. It's going to likely continue to consolidate and be very tight. So please keep that in mind if you're trading options. But just know the long term is going to be fine for NIO, and I see upside potential towards the end of the year if we get some strong deliveries. So I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a good rest of your Sunday, and peace out.